Good afternoon and welcome to Table Talk on 802 Scoop, located at 185 North Main Street in Barre. Kicking off the 4th of July weekend, lots going on, fireworks everywhere. You turn, there's fireworks display being announced, and I did get those posted, thankfully. One of the links that NBC had posted was invalid, or it wouldn't work, so they got that all corrected, and we got the list up
Channel
there.
5?
Yep, Channel 5, and we got that posted up there, and then I asked people if you know of more to put them in the comments so that people can know where to go and see some fireworks this weekend.
So when are Burlington's waterfront? Is that
I think they're tonight.
tonight?
I think so. I think it was July 3rd. I would have to look again.
Montpelier is tonight? Or?
Yes.
Yeah.
So those are all happening. Those are out there. And then there's a bunch of, tons and tons of them everywhere. And of course, here in Barre, they're not in downtown because the fireworks here aren't until the Heritage Festival, but they are at the track at
Thunder Road. Yeah.
And so, and there are many locations that you can see the majority of the fireworks at Thunder Road. They do some stuff on the ground that doesn't get high enough, but for the most part, you can see them from many locations around the city. So those are happening tonight. But just get to the track and take in a race and check them out. But like I said, the list is on the page, and then if you know of more, please put them in the comments so that everyone knows, because not all of them are always advertised. Like I know I didn't see Joe's Pond on there. So there are some locations where they don't get posted for one reason or another. I believe the parade in Cabot and all their festivities take place on Saturday. That's always fun. The Cabot parade is always one that's a lot of fun to go to. And of course, then you can go into Harry's and have some good food and drink, and they have really good desserts in there.
No?
You should check it out.
They have really good desserts?
Yes.
Oh.
At the Harry's Hardware and Den in Cabot. Yeah. You should go check it out.
That's right. I'm up in that neighborhood.
Well, that's right. Why not? So I want to kick off with a new business alert. And so new business, not a new name. Vinny Calcani is having a grand opening of his new business, Keystone Architectural Stone and Landscape. And that's located right up on the Airport Road, 1168 Airport Road in Berlin. And the grand opening is July 18th, so mark the calendars, 10 to 2. There is a contest, so if you go to his Facebook page, the Keystone Architectural Stone and Landscape Facebook page, you can enter to win this really cool fire pit.
Yeah, I've entered.
You did enter,
Sure.
Me too. Got all entered up, but welcome to the business world, right? I mean, and Vinny's a great guy. His wife's she's a great lady. She does a lot with Stone and Browning and in the community.
And his dad and his uncle have run Granite Corporation of Barre for many years. They're great guys.
Yeah.
Done a lot of work for the city when I was in the facilities department. They're good people. Yeah. Very good people.
Great family. And so welcome to him. Good luck. And I have no doubt that that's a business we'll see around for a really long time. I mean, the work ethic there is huge, and just the community involvement and who he is and what they're all about. So really happy to announce that for sure. So go up, check it out. Make sure you go to the Facebook, like the page, do the share and all of that. It's pretty easy to enter the contest, and you could be the winner of that pretty cool fire pit. So check it out. Yeah. Now, let's get into the big thing. We'll talk about the big bad wolf, the community safety ordinance and policy. So we know that the ordinance went through a 5-2 split with Beth Hillgartner and Sonia Spalding holding out on that as a no. And not really a ton of people there in protest. I assumed that, most people knew they had come the first couple of times, and they knew that it was going to pass. Yeah, it's and I did, yes, Hillary, I saw that they just posted the meeting on YouTube. I ended up posting the one from CBTV because the city hadn't. I think it's Nicholas hadn't posted it yet on the YouTube one, and people were asking. So I got that one up, and I know that CBTV, a lot of times people have a hard time hearing that one. The sound isn't the same. So I will go ahead and put the YouTube one up as well. But overall, it wasn't a horrible meeting as far as okay, we didn't have a lot, but you guys got the shame posters and the little shout outs at the end. But here we go. We're going, it's got to be published in the paper, and then 15 days after.
So July 17th, I believe, is when it would kick in.
Is when it would kick in.
What I liked was the comment that Herb Heath made. It's a tool. It's a tool in your toolbox. That if you need it, it's there and you can use it.
Right. And we all do that, right? How many things in your toolbox do you use only when, they're not everyday things. These are things that help you get by. And maybe at first, will it seem like it's used a little more? Maybe because we have a lot going on right now, and and people are going to have to adjust, right? They're going to have to know that no, you can't panhandle there, or no, you can't do this, or no, you can't do that. But it's my understanding that the majority of the stuff will be warned first. The first time, there's going to be a warning. Look, this is what is taking place. This is what has happened, and this is where we're at with it. Don't let me speak to you about this again. And it's not going to be immediate out on the street writing tickets of how things go.
Right.
So, I mean, we got to start somewhere. We need to do something to make people start feeling welcome and safe, no matter who you are.
Right. And ordinances can be changed. They can be altered. They can be manipulated as you go along. It's not set in stone. You can change it as needed.
Yeah, it's learning for everyone. And it's, we heard the same comment that we've been hearing all along. That's why you got the shame posters, was that this is targeted at the poor, the less fortunate, the homeless. And it's not at all. It's targeted at behavior.
Yes.
And I know there are plenty of people that are homeless that don't act that way.
Right.
And, that aren't acting inappropriate. They aren't spray painting buildings or dumpsters, or, they're not tagging things. They're not destroying property in the park.
Not defecating in the park, not urinating in public.
Right, or even having sex in public.
Yeah.
I know that I've seen that posted in one of our very faithful viewers actually witnessed that last week, right out in the back of what is it over here?
Enterprise Alley?
Yeah.
Or
Depot
Merchants
Square,
Way?
right by Depot Square.
Yeah.
Saw them out there, and right in broad daylight, like they didn't care. And I know a couple of weeks ago, the same was said about someone having sex in the City Hall Park in broad daylight as well, in the morning. And, that's just, that's not okay. And it's certainly nothing I'd want to be riding down the street with my kids or grandkids or anybody. I don't want to see it myself, but I certainly wouldn't want to subject youth to that, for sure.
Yeah. Nobody needs to see it.
No. It's disgusting. And so those are the kinds of things that this is targeting, is the bad behavior, but certainly not people.
Right.
And, and then it's brought up, well, you can't leave a bicycle unattended. You can't leave your things unattended. You can't, the ordinance itself is pretty broad. I would assume that that's not going to mean that you can't go into a store and leave it outside
Right.
for a few minutes. But if you leaving your stuff somewhere for days on end in a pile at in the park or somewhere out and visible, that's what's going to be
Yeah.
a problem. We're not talking about I left my bicycle outside of Dollar General, went in and got a few things. And so, but we know that like many things, right? If you don't like it, you're going to over exaggerate the problem. So like, oh, this is going to, and it's so far from the truth.
And the police are trained. They're not, Gestapos out there just pulling people over for no reason. I mean,
No,
most of our police know the people that are around
right?
town.
They're our neighbors.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the thing, is the force is our neighbors, and it's definitely something that it's needed. We needed to start somewhere, and this is a good start. And I hope that people continue to come out to the meeting and weigh in, or maybe in a month we can say, let's just do a check-in and see where we're at with things. I think Counselor
Amanda brought up
Guestin
that.
asked
Yeah.
that. Yeah, she asked.
Yeah,
Guestin asked.
which is a good idea. A
I
very
think
good
so.
idea.
I think so too. And they are. And Glenn says they're professionals, and they certainly deserve a chance to show what they can do with this. And I believe that, and so does the city. I believe that we've taken a few steps back, and people are ahead of things like the Heritage Festival and things that are happening. It would be nice to feel like that people are really going to want to come here again. And I mean, I see it every day. I see comments of, this is why I don't go down there, this is why this is why that. And it's hurtful, it's sad. This is where I grew up. I love it here. And I'm committed to the city, as most people know. I live in the town, but I commit a lot of my time and energy into the city because I love it here.
Yeah.
And
Well, you have said this before. It doesn't matter if you live in Barry City or Barry Town.
this is
This
downtown.
is your main street.
Yeah.
If you live in Barry Town, this is your main street too.
Yeah, exactly. And so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And I have faith. I have faith, and I have, I have hopes that this is going to help make a difference.
Yeah.
And maybe it even will help make a difference to the people that are homeless, because sometimes people just need a little bit of direction or acknowledgement, whether good or bad, the acknowledgement of the fact that somebody's there and this is what we're going through. And so, who knows what it will do to know that you're going to be getting those check-ins, but sometimes for some, that check-in matters.
Yeah.
It really does. And so maybe, who knows, maybe that's all some people are looking for, is to know that, yep, somebody sees us here. But when they see us here, if we're misbehaving, then there's going to be a consequence.
I bet some of these homeless people that, aren't causing any problems are afraid to go in the park themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And unfortunately, Hillary mentions, and I have noticed this myself, that with the porta potty at the park, Courier Park, that it seems to be a hangout. It's starting to be more and more of a hangout. And I know we just mentioned a couple of weeks ago, or I did, that you didn't really see much of that, and I felt it was because it was more neighborhood. There's more eyes on the situation, but not the case right now. We have the Vermont Coyotes weighing in, and they said they look forward to possibly stopping in and coming on the show with us sometime. And of course, we would welcome them. I believe that they just partnered up with Bob Nelson's Hardware across the street. And we've shared all those videos and have talked about them some, and they've got a lot of great games and a lot of great stuff happening too. So
Make sure the general manager, Chris Bedore, comes in.
Chris Bedore,
Yeah.
that's the general manager
I believe
of
he's the general
Vermont
manager,
Coyotes. Nice.
Good guy. I've known Chris a while.
So make sure, if
Come on,
you're
Chris.
still listening, make sure you send Chris in here. So, and then we've talked about this before too. We got to make a mention, especially since we have the Miss Race to Read herself listening in, that you can still buy raffle tickets for the Ken Squire Hood at the racetrack, and you have until the 24th of July to do that, but they will be there. The Race to Read booth will be there tonight at the track as always, and you can purchase tickets to win that hood. They are $5 each or 3 for $10, and it's a race. It's the hood of a race car with Ken Squire on the top,
nice.
and so that post is there. You can also reach out to, if you click on the Race to Read Facebook page, you could reach out to somebody and purchase them outside of the track if you weren't there and unable to attend. But yes, that's the Ken
cool.
Squire
Nice.
hood. So you can do that if you go up to the track. Make sure you stop, say hi to everyone, and just give support to the kids too, because they really do. I mean, they do a good job, and they read all these books, and they really get into the logs and all of that stuff. It's a big deal to them. So make sure you check it out. I love to post the pictures of all the little kids doing that stuff. Speaking of kids, let's talk some baseball.
Baseball tonight.
6 o'clock Barrytown, I saw.
Both Barrytown and Bond.
And Bond,
So it's the
yeah.
opening round of the District 4 tournament for the Vermont Little League Championships. So
Nice.
I know Barry's playing at Bond Field. I don't know who's at Barrytown. I'll have to see if I can find the schedule. But the Barry City boys are playing at Bond Field at 6 against Linden.
Nice.
And I think you said they're looking for.
Yes, they need a ump for the game at 6 p.m. tonight at Barrytown.
Okay.
And you do not have to be patched. It's
Right.
a bases
It'll
ump.
be on the base paths, yeah.
And
The home
so-
plate umpire has to be patched.
Right. So they just need you to know the basics of baseball, they say. So I'm out. I have a big mouth, but I don't know anything else besides that. If somebody slid into me, could be able to say safe or something, but anything
As long
else.
as you don't
forget
drop
it.
the F-bomb first.
Yeah, then I'd be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be hollering fumble or something if somebody, dropped a ball.
Fumble?
Yeah.
Okay, that's football, huh?
I know, but that's how much I know about it all, So I know a little more about basketball.
Yeah.
Only because of Lori Shepard. And then of course, the Four Quarters podcast. I listen to them, and I've learned a lot just listening to them. And I go to the games, the high school games sometimes when I can. And then I know a little bit more about football because I actually used to watch it all the time. I never missed a game. And I was a great fan of the Washington Redskins, still am, and that's what I call them. And I know they've gotten here and there, they pull it out a little bit. They pull their heads out a little bit, and I have a little tiny smidge of hope,
Yeah.
and then they make it all go away.
I can't say much. I'm a Giants fan.
So, but I watched it always. I never missed a game.
Yeah.
Never ever. And I still call them the Washington Redskins because if I didn't, then I don't even know what they're called now. Like the Commanders or something.
The Washington Commanders.
Yeah. But I haven't watched it in a few years. I'm too busy for that shit. But I turned golf on.
Yeah.
Because golf and the Formula One racing, and I don't sit and watch it. I love to listen to the announcers.
Yeah.
They're hysterical. Some of the commentary on both, pretty funny. If you're so I turn it on and listen to it in the background when I'm doing my housework and stuff. The Formula One race especially is hysterical to listen to them. Yeah.
Yeah. I like golf. I'll watch golf.
Yeah, I can't watch it, but I like to listen to it. And I used to watch it quite often. Yeah. And I took a lot of shit for it. Like, how can you watch golf?
Oh. See,
How
speaking of golf,
boring.
I had dinner last night I had some relatives come up from Richmond, Virginia. So my younger brother, his wife, myself, some other cousins came. We went up there for dinner up at the country club. Boy, they have good food up there. That's really good.
Oh, yeah, I have not eaten up there in years,
No, it's very good. Yeah, we sat out on the deck, had a nice dinner.
which is nice.
Yeah.
The deck is awesome.
Yeah.
To be able to sit out there and have some
Yeah.
dinner. I think the last time I had dinner there was for a wedding. I think it was a
Yeah.
reception. It was some sort of reception that I was up there for. Michael wants to know if you're coming to the studio tonight to try the trike.
I have the game.
Right, he has the game. But I didn't think we were going to do that tonight either. I think it's going to be spots of rain here and there, and I'm not ready for that tonight, unfortunately. I still have I've been having some medical stuff, as
Yeah.
some people know, and Michael knows, but things slip his mind quickly. But I'm wearing my little mini boot, and I could probably do that in a mini boot. Hell, I learned to drive my car. But I'm not so sure that I'm healed enough to be
Yeah, don't-
messing around with something like that,
Nah, don't try it.
just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
We
I
gotta have a
won't
night
try
when
it.
I don't have baseball, Michael.
Yeah, we got it exactly. We got to have it on a night that no base and we got to give fair warning because Glenn wants to try too. And we need to have like a night of this where we are all out in the parking lot.
We might have to do it up at the auditorium parking lot.
So listen, that's what I kept doing. So I would put my sneakers on to leave the house and I would drive up to the auditorium, then put my little boot on
Yeah.
because right now I'm literally driving with just my little foot. And I was practicing up at the auditorium and I got really good at it. And once I felt like I was good enough at it, safe, then I could, otherwise I was, they were saying only wear your boot as much as you can. But I'm always on the go. I'm always driving. I'm always running all over the place. So I wasn't wearing it and that's not good. So I had to learn. So that's where I taught myself
Yeah.
is up at the auditorium. Plenty of room.
Yeah. And there's nothing going on. You get that whole parking
Yeah,
lot
the
to
big hole
yourself.
open and it goes around. You have to
Yep.
come down the little hills. You can step on the brakes. You can do all those things. And you can even practice sliding into the studio on one wheel. Like I've had to do a few
Like you-
times lately.
Yeah, like today.
That damn train, it slowed me up. Well, actually, the train didn't. The guy in front of me did, who is a dumbass and stopped way before even the lights started coming on. Came to a screeching halt. And then the traffic on the other side, it wouldn't have mattered because
Yeah.
I would have ended up on the opposite side of the track anyway. So I was screwed either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't moving. I had to wait. But at least it didn't get stuck. I'm grateful for that because that happens a lot over there.
Yeah. Where are you on? 62? Or
Yeah.
and see, the thing is, you can't. If you see the train, you hear the train, and before you get to 62, you say, "Well, I'm going to cut over like by the old Ward 5 school, and then come down and try to beat it down to like
Yep.
Granite Street or
Yep.
Blackwell Street."
Yeah, forget it.
Forget it.
It's not going to happen.
No, not going to happen.
Yeah. Yes, Glenn, the country club is open to the public, I believe, for dining
Yeah.
as far and for lunch and dinner. And I'm pretty sure that they still have a pretty good takeout menu.
They
as
do,
well.
because I actually saw somebody come up and get takeout while we
Yeah.
were there.
So they do both. I've seen
Check it
I've seen
online.
advertised.
Fairways and Greens.
That's right, Fairways and Greens.
Yeah.
That's what that's called. We'll have to get that posted up, share that link for people that might want to go up and check it out. But what else? What are you doing this weekend? Anything good?
I don't know. Maybe just go out to camp. It's supposed to be fireworks at Joe's Pond Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we'll just bolt out there tomorrow and
Why not?
hang out. And
Chill out around the fire. Do
get
some
a
barbecue.
better view from Tom's place. So
Yeah. Do some barbecue.
yeah.
Do you do hot dogs on a stick?
No, right on the grill. On a stick.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know, like real camping. You
I have a
make
fire
fire
pit.
in the fire pit.
I have a fire pit, but I need a new one.
You need a new one. Is that
Vinny.
is that a hint to Vinny?
Vinny, I need a new one.
If you don't win, you'll have to have him build you one.
I
Maybe.
guess so.
Yeah, you never know. Maybe he'll take mercy on you. Send him a picture of yours. How terrible it is.
I
Maybe
will.
he'll
I think
have
I'll do
mercy.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Say me. Yeah, post it right in the comments,
Yeah.
right? The picture of yours. But yeah, like real camping. You cook the hot dogs on a stick, and then you make the marshmallows and all that
Well,
good stuff.
grandkids like doing that.
They
Roasted
do like doing
marshmallows
that.
in a fire pit.
Yeah. Do you ever put those? I don't know. There's those little block things that you put in there. It makes the fire change colors and all
No,
that stuff.
no.
Have you ever done that?
No.
My kids used to love that. They think that was a pretty big deal. Yeah. And then later in life, when they were teenagers, they got a kick out of it too, but not for the same reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually they were hitting the peace pipe and they were like, whoa, you know? How cool, Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was clueless at that point. Now I know. It's all those things that you learn later.
Yeah.
You know, when the kids are sitting around talking, remember when we did this or remember when we did that, and you sit there with your mouth dropped and say, I don't even want to know. Do you have those moments with your kids?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
I have more memories of that.
With you?
With my parents hearing what me and my brothers were doing. That was my poor mom.
Your poor mom.
Yeah.
You had no mercy.
4 boys.
Oh yeah, I can't. Although
All
I
4 in high
always
school at the same
wanted
time.
4 boys. That's what I wanted.
Really?
I always wanted to have 4 boys. I had 2, but that's what I always wanted. Like literally my whole life, I said, when I get big, I want to have 4 boys. Yeah, I don't know what the hell I was thinking because I have 2, and that's plenty. Plenty. That's a lot to handle.
I have 2 boys. Yeah.
Now, are you all close in age?
Yeah. So let's see. My older brother, he just turned 71. I just turned 69. Greg will be 68 in September. And then our younger brother, Chris, he died back in 84. And he would have been 67, 68, 69, 71.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like me, my brother, and my sister. Right now, I'm 53, my sister's 52, and if my brother was still alive, he'd be 51 in November. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, we had busy mothers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, busy mothers and tired ones, too. Mark your calendars now. Berry City, July 19th, they are doing a car seat safety program. Just to make sure you have the proper fit and installation and checking out the car seat, making sure that it's in date, follows all the requirements, there's been no recalls. It's actually really, I've been to one before just to check out the event, and I was with a friend of mine that needed hers done, and sometimes they can be super hard to put in and install and make sure they're in there right, and the different hooks and different cars, and what I love now is that you put the base in and it stays in. It's not like when my kids were little, you have to do that damn thing every single time. It was, hell. But now for the most part, I think for the majority of car seats, you put the base in, you get it all strapped in, locked in, and it just stays.
See, that's
and
nice.
your seat that you bring out snaps into place. But they are doing that at the Berry City Police Department, July 19th, from 10 to noon at the Public Safety Building. So,
That's nice.
which is the police station. So
We used to
it's,
host those up at the auditorium.
You did?
Yeah.
Yep. But those are good things. Do they ever do the rabies clinics down here, or are those always only happen at the town?
I think it's at the town. I don't think
Yep.
we've ever done those.
I've never seen that they have, but I wasn't sure if it's just something that I miss or not. You know, I wasn't sure. But it doesn't look like we're going to have too bad of weather for the weekend
No.
for any of this stuff.
No.
Yeah. I think it's going to be pretty good. Some hazardous storms they're saying this afternoon
heard
in
that
some
this
locations.
morning, yeah.
But it looks like right up the coast, right up the east coast.
Yeah, and I
of-
checked, and it
or-
looks like we're going to be all right. I think
yeah,
we'll get the games
St.
in
Johnsbury.
tonight.
I think you guys will get the games in. It looks like the track is going to be good for racing. And the best part, I think, for fireworks tonight is the humidity's gone. So the air's actually moving. They say, oh, it's going to be cooler, bring a sweatshirt. I'd rather bring a sweatshirt and see all of the fireworks than stand out there in a t-shirt or tank top and not be
Yeah.
able to see them because they're just underneath all the smoke.
Yeah.
So it should be a really cool night to literally to go and see those. And then tonight is also the summer music series concert in the park type thing that they have downtown Montpelier. The 4th of July, tomorrow, is the Wilkins Freedom Ride. If you want to participate in that, you just need to be up there at Wilkins at 10 o'clock in the morning. And kickstands up at 10:30. They do that Freedom Ride every year. And I know a lot of people that participate in that. It's actually a
Yeah.
pretty big ride. So check it out. And then the Under Attack, the Nerf War games. These things, it's pretty amazing.
Are
It's
they?
pretty fun. I've had them come to a couple of different parties for kids, and the kids absolutely love it. And I've seen a few adults join in and have quite a bit of fun too. I think we should have them and do Fire Against Police or Town Against City or something with the adults. They set up these big beanbag things and that you can hide in like little bunkers
Yeah.
and play. I think it would be hysterical fun. But July 5th from noon to 4 at Christ Community Alliance Church in East Barry. And this is a family fun fundraiser. You bring your blasters to, or they do have some that you can borrow, but they're just single shots. So, but they do provide all of the darts. Parking available on site as well as nearby parking at the post office and the old antique mall. But they'll have the battlefield all set up and ready to roll. And the fundraiser is for the food pantry and that they're doing there. So the food shelf firefight is what it's called. And so that is taking place tomorrow at the church from noon to 4.
Cool.
And it is a lot of fun. You should take your grandkids sometime when they're doing
They
this,
haven't.
'cause it's a ton of fun. And they'll be with us at the Den on the 19th of July for the Chris Fisk Memorial ride as well. Under Attack will be set up there and hanging out for the kids to raise a little heck so that the parents can, and it's hard sometimes with all of these events because parents could be gone literally every weekend trying to do something. So making it family friendly is a big deal if you can bring everybody. But there are times that you're going to need to pay attention during the auctions or the raffles or something like that. So it's kind of good that you have something where the kids can be there playing, doing their own thing as well, and you can
Yeah.
relax and do your thing too. So
And this time of year, a lot of people are gone.
Yeah.
It's when they take their family vacation right around July 4th.
yep, 4th of July weekend for
People
sure.
go camping or they rent camps and they
Yeah.
go on trips and
Yep, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And if you haven't and you're looking for stuff to do, there's plenty. There's so much stuff to do around. And it's super easy. If you go to your Facebook page and you go into the top right corner where you have the 3 dashes and you click on those, you just scroll down to the word events, click events, and then click local, click this week. You can enter a zip code of where you might be. Say you're camping, say you're going to be out Joe's Pond way and you want to know what's happening out that way, St. Johnsbury or whatever. All of that stuff is there. And you can find a lot of cool stuff on there
Yeah.
that you don't even realize is happening. Sometimes I'm scrolling through it and think, geez, I didn't know that this even existed. So one of the things that has been listed on there, well, they do the millstone stuff a lot.
yeah.
But they have tour that is the covered bridge tour, where you can literally get a map somewhere and you can go to all the different
Really?
covered bridges. So they have that there that you can pick up in Montpelier somewhere, I believe. And then they have another one with waterfalls that you can do.
That would be kinda cool.
Throughout the summer, you can go to all of the
Yeah.
different waterfalls. And then the last one that I saw was the towers. Like there's one at the different state parks.
Like the Firewatch Towers,
The Firewatch
Spruce
Towers,
Mountain,
Spruce Mountain,
Bear Mountain.
and several of the different. Yeah, there's all kinds of them, and I think there's even one at Owl's Head. There's a tower.
Is there?
I think that's what it said, or maybe no, it wasn't Owl's Head. It was somewhere else though, in the Groton Forest, that there's a tower. Can't remember now that I say that. But I know there was one in Groton as well.
See, I like those. I
Me
gotta
too.
check that out.
It would be fun to go over.
Yeah.
And most of the hikes aren't really that bad. Some of them are a little more strenuous than others,
Yeah.
for sure. I don't think Spruce is bad at all.
Spruce
That's
isn't
an
bad.
easy one.
Yeah.
But a lot of there's a lot of them, and there was another one in Northfield somewhere that I saw.
Really?
And that's not only is that tower there, but they play that disc golf in that
yeah?
same location. It's a state park, and so check those out. Just and they're all listed on those event pages,
Yeah.
and that isn't under a certain time frame, but it just says local or in your area or something, and that's one of the things. But I thought those were three cool things.
So the one at what we call Bear Mountain is actually Alice State Park. It's in Brookfield.
Oh, I think that's it.
And that's the one you can drive right up to it. The parking lot's not too far. You just have to walk a little ways and there's a tower.
That's what it is. It's Alice State Park, and that's where they
Okay.
do disc golf right around there as well. And part of that area
Yeah.
is used for the disc golf stuff.
Yeah.
That's where it was. So I didn't know that that's what it was called.
Yeah, Alice State Park.
Yeah. But the Bear Mountain, I did.
Bear
have no
Mountain,
idea.
wow, we used to go there.
Yeah.
We know our parents used to do something every weekend in the summer. They'd pack us into the station wagon and we'd go to a state park and have a
Yeah.
barbecue cookout, and some other family members would come. We'd have a big party,
Yeah.
but we loved that place because we were up and down that tower all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
And there's so many places that you can canoe and kayak and,
Yeah.
Foster Pond, Nichols Pond.
Mm-hmm.
Those are like some of my favorite. North Montpelier Pond, they're easy. They're not usually really
Yeah.
packed. Pretty scenery. So there's just and there's usually little trails all over those places,
Yeah.
and most often
Well,
little
like
grills.
Groton
and-
State Park.
Yeah.
That's a huge area, and they've got all these little areas where you can park, and trails are marked that you can hike.
And all of those things are free.
Yep.
And so we have a lot to do here, a lot of really cool things. And as someone who lives here, I know that I haven't even done probably an eighth of them and don't even know that they exist.
Me too.
Yeah, like the waterfall things. I mean, when I was looking through to see, I think the only one I had ever been to was Judavine. And so, and actually hiked up through those but that's it.
Yeah.
And Michael says that he feels like they passed legislation to allow old people like Jeff to go to these parks for free.
He's cruising. He's cruising.
He's looking for some flat tires on the trike.
But he's right, because I remember Cheryl talked about that at
Yes,
one of
she
the
did.
council meetings, that if you go to the city clerk's office, I think if you're 65 and older, you can obtain a pass that will get you into any state park for free.
Yeah, and you can sign up online too.
Yeah.
I've shared the link a few times. I'll have to share it again because that's a really cool program and something that, let's face it, retirees don't get a lot of breaks in this world, and if anything, they struggle a lot. They work their whole lives and are getting a good kick in the pants.
We got a president that wants to cut our benefits
Yeah.
too.
I know. So, it's the little things, for sure. The little
Yeah.
things. And now if they would just give you the free fishing and hunting, the
Oh,
lifetime pass,
I have that.
right?
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
have that. Well,
I mean, most people get
it wasn't
that,
free.
but it wasn't free.
At
Yeah.
66 years old, you pay $60 and then you don't have to ever
Right,
buy
then
a
you don't
license
pay again.
Yeah.
So it's close
It's
to free,
good. It's all good.
considering what it is per
Yeah.
year. So my dad did the same thing as
Yeah.
soon as he ended up getting the lifetime one
Yeah.
as soon as he could for the cheap.
Well, they changed
cheaper
it years
price.
ago, 'cause it used to be 60 when you turned 60, and then they jacked it up to 70, and they were going to have to pay more. Then, after everybody fought about it, they brought it back down to 66 and $60. But it's a good deal. It's,
Yeah.
we were talking about the state parks. I remember when our boys were young, we used to just during the summer vacations, if we went camping, we had a camper and went camping. But if we were just around, we'd just throw the boys in the vehicle and head over to Boulder Beach. Boulder
Yeah.
Beach is still a nice place.
Yes, it
really
is.
nice place.
It is. Boulder Beach, there's Joe's Pond, there's
Yep.
Limers.
Yep.
Limers has changed a lot over the years.
Yeah.
It's gotten way better. I believe they've dug it out.
Good.
And, they've made a nice beach over there. There's a
Yep.
cool place for the kids to play. The campground is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And they have live music and do different things
Wow.
over there. And but the state parks, Joe's Pond, Limers, is Wrightsville Dam still open?
Yes.
They do that? Yeah.
Yep.
We used to go there once in a while when we were kids. And then, of course, all of the roadside river things like Big Rock and all of those places.
Warren Falls.
Yeah.
I used to go to Warren Falls a lot in high school.
And those are places that you really have to be careful.
You got to be very careful.
You have to be careful, and
Yeah.
you have to know what you're doing, where you're going. Don't
Yeah.
go after rainstorms. Use your bucket.
Yeah.
Use your head and use some common sense as to what you're doing. And yeah,
Right.
when I was a kid, we used to swim in the quarries.
Oh, we did too.
To think about it now as an adult, I go, I can't believe that we did that.
I know.
But that's what we did. I didn't get in the quarries because I don't swim. But I would go with people. We would go up there and literally spend a whole day.
Now, was it number 6? It had the 3 different diving
Yes.
levels:
Yeah.
porch, roof, and attic. Or what the heck was that? I don't know. I can't remember. But
I can't remember either,
Chimney.
but
Chimney.
I do
Porch, roof,
remember
chimney. Yeah.
that there were different stages.
Yeah.
And
that was a very popular
it was
place.
the hot spot, yeah, for sure. And but that's what we did when I was a kid.
Yeah.
We swam in the quarries, but mostly because it was all walking distance, right? Or biking.
Yeah.
Because that's what we did. We didn't wait for our parents to take us. We didn't
Mm-hmm.
wait to do we've been talking about that. You found stuff to do during the day, all day. You would literally get up in the morning, put your shoes on, and go out the door and not be back until the lights came on, or at least dinner,
Yeah.
so that you didn't get in big trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Because if you do miss dinner, you might be in a little bit of grief too.
Believe it or not, we used to ride our bicycles from here over to Waitsfield to go to the falls.
Yeah, my sister used to
Yeah.
too. That's insane.
It was.
That's no.
But that's when you're like
a long
17,
ways.
16 to 18 years old and you were in decent shape.
Right, you still had energy, and
Yeah.
you weren't smoking a pack of Marlboros a day or anything like that yet. You're still just sneaking a few here and there from
Yeah.
your mom or something. Yeah. Michael says, true story, I've never swam in the quarries. Well, but he might be a little young.
Yeah.
He's younger than us.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of like
'Cause
petered out.
They had
a
kind
bit.
of, yeah. Well,
And I think they stopped it
they had
too.
gated it off so you couldn't get down in there easily. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they put an end to it basically.
Yeah, it's gated off now. Because we used to even go parking at night when I was younger up there. The one of the places called Top of the World that we used to hang out up there. Or kids would get together and hang out there and drink or whatever. And so that
I could name all.
that became a no-no.
I could name all the big party places when I was in high
Yeah,
school.
me too. Yeah, the sand pits, things like that. Yeah, there was plenty of them. for sure.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. But kids don't do that anymore either, thankfully. I mean, yes and no. It was so different when we were kids because we would go someplace and we would freaking stay there. Or there was people that would bring us wherever. Not always. I mean, we certainly had tragedy when I was in high school where, kids would drink and drive, and we even had some deaths when I was in high school from people doing that. But for the most part, it just didn't really happen.
No.
We would go and literally raise holy hell all night in some friggin' field or something. Yeah. Those are the stories my mom didn't want to hear around the table later in life. She was like, I don't even want to hear it. Yeah. What do you mean you did that? Yeah.
Oh, boy.
It was, fun stuff, but
Yeah.
I'm not advocating that people do that anymore. I mean,
No.
there's reasons that we don't.
No.
There's reasons that we don't, but those were definitely the good old days.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey,
Where
there
was
was-
your favorite spot?
Where was my favorite spot? Probably the chimney. The chimney was up on top of Trow Hill.
Yeah.
If you go all the way up, and then where Rick Sanborn started Ironell, where his
Yeah.
house was, there was a little little logging road basically. Went up, and at one point there used to be a house or something up there, so there was a remains of a chimney.
Yep.
So that was a hot spot. Place we called Riley's Field up off Gelbert Road up on Trow Hill. Strawberry Field over in South Barry.
Yeah. Strawberry Field there. Yeah.
Seventh hole up by the Barry Country Club. Now that was a crazy place because there were these big pine trees, and the more you drank, people would dare you to climb up the pine tree and then
Pine
jump
trees.
and float down on
And
the
you
branches.
can get some seriously snapping fires around
Oh, yeah.
with
Oh,
pine
yeah.
trees and the needles and
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, you can get some snapping fires around those too. Yeah.
Sometimes I'm amazed that I'm still alive.
Yeah. I did that.
Ew.
Well, that's why you walk with Ginger now. you just, our knees and our back and we're paying for all those things that
Yeah.
we did back
Yeah.
when. But, so
Oh.
the moral of the story is there's plenty to do around
Oh,
here.
gosh,
There
yeah.
really is. And even if, taking a walk in the cow pasture and taking a picnic with you, or, there are things to do. Just because you can't see it immediately doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And I see that all the time where people say there's nothing to do around here, or there needs to be more stuff for kids to do. And I just feel like there is so much if you look.
Yeah.
If just because there's, you can't see this direct playground outside your door doesn't mean that there isn't one close by, or your own playground in a field somewhere, a picnic, any of those sorts of things to do. Go on a field and run, play frisbee, fly a kite, go for a hike. Dude, there's plenty to do.
And people that just like to walk, I'll tell you, when I walk, I go up to Hope Cemetery
Yeah.
because there's no traffic. And I've noticed there seems to be more and more people doing that now. Hope, Elmwood's another good place. If you live up in that area, that's a nice little place to walk.
Yep. Yeah. Elmwood, I see a lot of people, of course, when I'm coming down the hill. I always see cars parked at the very beginning, and then people walking Elmwood. Or they do the loop where they'll park at the ball field behind Lincoln, and they'll walk up, a couple streets, because you can go down, come back out by Courier Park and up and around. So I see a lot of people doing that loop as well, and it's fun stuff to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and kids usually like that too, because they can explore. You can, ask them to find something or look for something. It's fun stuff to do.
Yeah.
So,
Another good thing that happened the other night at the council meeting was we had someone come in to be appointed to the rec committee. And her name's Bernadette Isabel Guyette. Years ago, a few years back, she helped Stephanie with some programs up at the auditorium, Alumni Hall. And she would be a great member to have on that committee because she loves doing that kind of stuff. And I was glad that she signed up for it.
Yeah, that's awesome, and I think that she spoke about stuff that she had done in the past, and I think it's awesome that she'll be able to. Well, together, I think that
Yeah.
we'll see a lot more come about, and especially in the winter months. People are already talking about the
Yeah.
winter, and but I feel the same way then. Look around. There's so much to do. Sledding hills and just things that you can do that are around if you're willing to look a little. It's not as drabby and blah around here as some people think. Sometimes you just have to put effort into it. That's all. And but that's the way it is with everything. And
Do you know the people still slide in the cow pasture? I remember where you come
I'm
up.
not sure.
We used to go up there when we were like 8th grade, 7th grade.
Yeah.
We'd hike up there, and right at the end of the road, when you first go into the entrance, there's that big hill on the right. And we used to go up there and slide down that thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they do at all. I haven't, of course, it's been years since I've even had little kids, so we'll have to come up this when it gets to winter time,
Yeah.
which we don't want to talk about yet. But
No.
we'll have to give suggestions of places to go
Yeah.
to people. The sledding hill we used as a kid no longer exists because it was on the top of Prospect, just past Berry Gardens, the old rowing court, and now it's houses right it's just past the where all those electrical things
Oh,
are,
the
like
power-
the
the-
power
yeah, the
station,
power
the
plant, yeah.
substation, just past
So
there.
right there on the right? You
Yeah,
used to
on the
slide
right.
there?
And just past there on the right, there was that big hill, but now there's houses there, and there was nothing there. And that thing was giant. We would walk away, all the way to the top of that thing and slide down, and there was a nice big space at the end, and we would spend hours and hours up there. And if we didn't feel like that, we would be naughty and slide down the sidewalk of Berlin Street, which is highly not suggested. Cars, things
Yeah.
like that. But that's what we did.
Yeah.
We'd slide from just across the street, 127, which was right below the turn to Highgate. So we would put our sleds on the sidewalk right at the mailboxes, and we'd slide all the way down to John Street. Yeah, and then you could go over, when you got down, you could hook onto this lawn so that you slid down the lawn
Yeah.
of the people that lived there. We knew them, and we could do that so that we didn't keep going, but that was bad. And then, yes, North Berry School. We would
Yeah.
slide down there too. And,
Yep.
and it was. Michael says the North Berry School hill was terrifying, but amazing.
I think that's terrifying. After Skyline closed, we used to
Yes.
we used to take those red plastic sleds and go up as high as we wanted and come flying down that.
Yep, yep,
That's where I broke my ankle doing that.
it is.
Yep.
I've done that a few times too. And then we used to go over to the one on Route 2 headed towards Plainfield just before it got it.
Oh
on the
yeah,
left.
yeah.
My parents would actually drive us over there. We
Yeah.
would drive over there sometimes on a Saturday and hang out there and go sledding for
Yeah.
a while. And that was always packed. And if you were lucky, somebody's parent brought a snow machine over with them, and they'd pull you back
Yeah.
up. If you were lucky, most of the time you were, walking back up the hill for sure. But yeah, that's it though. The moral of the story is there's plenty to do,
Oh,
and plenty
God,
to do
yeah.
this weekend. Plenty of fireworks to
Yeah.
see. Plenty of you don't have to pay to get in. If you can just drive a little or
Yep.
walk a little, more than likely you'll be able to see some. And yeah, and here's my plug, and I know it's not the most favorite plug, but every year, for 2-3, probably for the next 2 weeks, because let's face it, 4th of July doesn't end on the 4th of July. We'll hear fireworks now for a while.
Yeah.
But almost on a daily basis, you see lost dog. My dog got away, got afraid of the fireworks, and got away. Don't bring them. Just let them stay home. Most dogs don't like them. Very few do, don't mind. Some don't mind. They don't care. And even if they don't care about the fireworks, it's the crowd, it's the kids. And I always say, you don't want, if your dog isn't used to kids and he's sitting there and some little kid walks up and grabs its tail or touches it because they don't know better, and your dog bites or nips just out of defending themselves, they're certainly not doing anything wrong. Then it's the dog's fault. And I just think that the 4th of July weekend seems to be the weekend that, or the 4th of July month, I'm going to say, is when they suffer the most. Like, just don't bring them. Leave them inside. And if you're going to have fireworks and you got a bunch of neighbors, my neighbor right across the street, they let off fireworks, but they always tell us, we're going to let off fireworks on such and such a day at such and such a time. And just so we know, it's just nice to let everyone know.
Yeah.
So be kind to your pets and do that. I have to sedate mine. Mine are both petrified.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're little Shih Tzus, and they are little shits, and they'll literally try to climb inside
call
my
them little
body.
shits.
Yeah, they literally try to climb inside of me, and they shake terrible. They have to be medicated for, close fireworks. If they're just in the way, if they heard them in the background, they would. But close fireworks, they don't like it. So I like those warnings. I like to know. Mm-hmm. And there are some local fireworks happening. You can check out the fire department's page in Barrytown. I know they've issued some permits. Those were there. We posted them, and check them out.
Yeah. See, and I don't think they do anything like that in Barry in the city, because I don't think people have to report it. But in a residential area, and you hear them constantly, it's so like you said, people with pets have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, or little kids or anything. Yeah. Just give a heads up. Just be courteous and give a heads up. And we can post everything else on the Barry resident chat page. We can post that too. So just be courteous and let people know. And then be nice and leave your pets at home so that we aren't searching for dogs for the next 3 weeks, because that's not fair to them either. They get lost, they're possibly stolen if that happens, and but then hungry or hurt, and it's just it's just not fair. So don't do that. Don't do that.
No.
Be nice. So.
Well, I hope if it gets really warm out, Michael can ride his tricycle to the Barry pool and jump in.
Maybe we should challenge him.
It is a challenge. That's a challenge.
That's a challenge?
That's a challenge.
Yeah?
Michael, ride your little tricycle up to the pool and jump in.
That's right. And maybe he can bring his pink unicorn with him.
It's right there.
Put it in his basket.
It's waiting for him.
Yeah. That's it. That's the dig he gets for calling you old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go, Michael. Take that. Anyways, have a safe, happy 4th of July. Michael and I will be here tonight at 7 for a weekly wrap. And then I think that's about it. I'm going to need some time next week to deal with some stuff. So Jeff and I won't be here on Tuesday and Thursday, what I need to do is train you to do this yourself, so that you could have a guest MP over here doing this. I have confidence that you could do it easily.
You've been drinking today? Or?
Not yet. There will still be stuff happening.
I have a hard enough time navigating this thing.
There will be other things happening next week, though, and but for this week, I am pretty sure that we're out for 802 Scoop, and I'm not sure if the guys are going to be in tomorrow night or not. The girls were in last night for 4 quarters. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Charter or Spectrum kept going out of service. I got like 3 service alerts all in a row. We'll, have restoration by 7, then 7:30, then 9:30, and so they had a hard time, but they'll be back with you on Wednesday at 5.
So we might have a little mini vacation here.
We might have a little mini vacation, with other people sporadically doing their shows, but we'll make sure those get posted. Until then, take care, have a happy and safe 4th of July weekend. Have a lot of fun. And send us your pictures. We'd love to see the pictures. I'll put up a post so we can
Yeah,
have some pictures posted in the comments.
even if you just take a hike somewhere and you
Yeah.
take some pictures, or you go to one of the state parks and some pictures.
Yeah, let us know what you're up to and what you found and what you did. We'd love to see it. So have a great weekend, everybody.